The time when dragonflies were the size of eagles and centipedes were larger than humans. We're talking about 300 million years ago, when strange creatures roamed and reigned our planet, and with the evolution and changes in their genes made them smaller in size, and many of them disappeared forever without leaving a clue. We do not know clearly what drove them to extinction. So, what was it that killed those giant insects that were larger than humans? Around 300 million years ago, Earth looked different. Continents were all over the place. Then, these continents came together to form a huge supercontinent called Pangaea. This was the Carboniferous period. Oxygen levels were much higher back then. Our oxygen levels now are 21%, but back then they were more than 34%. Oxygen is vital to sustain us, but it can also destroy us. At higher concentrations, it can become toxic, leading to a condition known as hyperoxia. Trees in that era stored carbon dioxide and released oxygen in abundance, which is why humans would not have survived in that high oxygen atmosphere. But for one creature, it was a perfect condition to live in. Meet Arthropleura. This giant millipede measures up to 10 feet, way longer than us humans. Arthropleura was a gentle giant, feeding exclusively on the lush plant life that flourished in its swampy habitat. Its body, segmented and armored with tough, overlapping plates, provided protection and support as it moved. Life for Arthropleura was one of relative peace, as its size and armor deterred most predators. It spent its days munching on decaying plant matter, contributing to the nutrient cycle of its ecosystem. The other creature that lived nearby in these conditions was Meganeura. It had a wingspan of over 25 inches and held the crown for the largest flying insect ever discovered today. Because of its huge size, it was the only predator, as during this era, none of the birds or flying reptiles were there to compete with or kill it. The Carboniferous period is hard for us humans to imagine due to the high oxygen levels. The sky above was more of sepia. High levels of oxygen in the air were like fuel to fires. One simple lightning storm can start an immense forest fire. Not a single day went by without fires in the forests, but these huge insects managed to survive for a long period of time. After the passage of a few million years, oxygen levels started to drop, and the fires became less frequent. At that time, these creatures started to disappear. What caused this extinction? Where did they go? We do not know yet, but science believes that the change in the atmosphere is the culprit. There might be some animals who were preying upon these insects, but there is no conclusive evidence for this theory. The fossils of Meganeura were discovered by a coal miner, and he donated them to the Natural History Museum in Paris. They were preserved in a piece of coal, but while extracting, miners lost its head. Later, exploring the coal mines, they found 4 more Meganeura, making it 5 that have ever been discovered. They are similar to modern dragonflies, but way bigger than them. Unlike modern dragonflies, Meganeura could not fold its wings. Other features are much like their dragonfly cousins. Their heads were independent of the rest of their body, so they could easily focus on their prey to catch it in a much more efficient way. With an astonishingly huge appetite, it could eat its own body weight every 30 minutes. So it was always on the hunt for most of its day to feed its metabolism to provide enough energy for it to function. Insects do not have lungs to function properly, so what they have are tubes in their wing system to bring the air directly to their cells. Not being very efficient is the reason they need so much oxygen in the air. The bigger the insect is, the more oxygen it needs. The Carboniferous period was the perfect time for these huge insects to exist with an abundance of oxygen in the atmosphere. Meganeura's survival in today's atmosphere is impossible. With very little oxygen, their organs won't get enough oxygen, and they won't function properly, including their brain system. So there is this link between the huge size of insects and the high levels of oxygen. Times kept rolling. And around 290 million years ago, oxygen levels dropped to 23%, much closer to today's 21%. This period we are in is called the Permian period. With that, temperatures changed and turned less rainy areas into deserts, but heavy rainfalls saved the great forests from the Carboniferous era. The rise in temperatures and changes in the atmosphere gave birth to living fungi that appear on tree barks. This caused the breakdown of wood and started to decompose it into coal. That fungus stopped the accumulation of carbon and started to recycle it in the air, causing a drop in oxygen levels. Arthropleura, as we know, are distant relatives of centipedes, but far larger, even bigger than humans, measuring over 10 feet in length, thrived in ancient ecosystems. Despite a decrease in atmospheric oxygen, there was still enough for Arthropleura to survive, and their massive size offered a significant advantage against potential predators. Predation or lack of oxygen did not cause their demise. So, what led to their extinction? The decreasing food supply triggered by climate change was the primary factor. The plants that Arthropleura depended on began to disappear, leading to their gradual decline. The most recent fossils of these creatures date back to 280 million years ago, indicating that they went extinct during this period. Interestingly, Meganeura's extinction also was not due to a lack of oxygen. Yes, their bodies require a lot of oxygen to function, and that is when their wings come in handy. The wings of Meganeura move fast and suck the oxygen from the air to pump into its tubes to supply it to the whole body. Meganeura used to prey upon these now extinct amphibians when they came out at the surface for oxygen. The demise of these creatures is still unclear to us, how and why and when they went extinct. Being the only flying creatures, Meganeura ruled the skies, but it was not that long before other animals took to the skies in the later Permian period, which was between 300 to 250 million years ago, where we have modern Europe today. 250 million years ago was the time when reptiles started to fly, or more of glide. One of them is Coelurosauravus, a set of elongated ribs that extended outward to support a wing-like membrane. These wings allowed Coelurosauravus to glide from tree to tree. It was the early period when reptiles started to climb the trees and fly like insects during that time. Being one of the first insect hunters, it was a competitor to Meganeura. Of course, being only 16 inches big, it could not hunt Meganeura, but it was capable of hunting what Meganeura used to hunt. Coelurosauravus is considered the first step toward the extinction of giant insects before the other reptiles came into play. During the Triassic period, which stretched from approximately 252 to 201 million years ago, the Earth underwent significant changes that shaped the course of evolutionary history. This era marked the emergence of dinosaurs, the earliest mammals, and the appearance of pterosaurs. The first vertebrates capable of powered flight. Amidst these evolutionary milestones, a notable shift occurred in the world of insects. Giant insects, once dominant during the Carboniferous and Permian periods, began to decline in prominence. This decline coincided with the diversification and expansion of other groups, such as dinosaurs and mammals, which likely altered ecological dynamics and introduced new competitive pressures. The exact reasons for the decline of giant insects during the Triassic period remain the subject of scientific inquiry. Factors such as changes in climate, habitat loss, shifts in predator-prey interactions, and the evolution of new forms of life likely played significant roles. Nonetheless, the Triassic period marked a pivotal moment in the evolutionary history of Earth, setting the stage for the emergence of new dominant species and the continued evolution of life on our planet. One step further than Coelurosaurus's gliding abilities, pterosaurs emerged during the late Triassic period as the first vertebrates capable of powered flight with wings flapping. These fascinating reptiles would come to dominate the skies throughout the Mesozoic era. Among them, Anurognathus is notable for its presence in the skies of modern Germany. With keen night vision and agile flight, Anurognathus hunted flying insects in the darkness, snapping them up with its sharp jaws. Camouflaged and stealthy, it blended into the shadows, securing its place as a silent hunter of the night. This adaptation allowed Anurognathus to exploit a niche as a nocturnal predator, complementing the diverse array of flying insects that flourished during this period. In doing so, it contributed to the intricate web of predator-prey interactions that shaped ecosystems during the Mesozoic era. Patinosaurus, a creature from the Triassic period, takes to the skies above lush riverbanks with finesse. With elongated fingers supporting her delicate wing membranes, she glides gracefully through the air, a relic of ancient times. Her needle-sharp teeth make quick work of insects as she hunts for sustenance. Evolved from dinosaurs, she boasts lightweight yet sturdy bones, allowing for swift aerial maneuvers. Cousins to Anurognathus, Batrachognathus likely employed various strategies to hunt insects efficiently. Living during the late Triassic period in Asia, these pterosaurs are believed to have been nocturnal, taking advantage of the cover of darkness when insects are most active. With their large eyes relative to their skull size, Batrachognathus possessed keen night vision, aiding in locating prey in low-light conditions. Utilizing their ability to fly, these agile creatures would have caught flying insects mid-air, employing their sharp, toothed jaws for aerial hunting. Mostly consuming the prey that giant insects used to eat, Batrachognathus likely contributed to the decline in giant insect populations, potentially playing a role in their extinction. This shift in predator-prey dynamics illustrates the complex interplay between species during the late Triassic period, shaping the evolutionary trajectories of both pterosaurs and insects. The concentration of oxygen in the air played a crucial role in determining the size of insects during that time. The higher the oxygen level, the larger insects tend to grow, while lower oxygen levels result in smaller insect sizes. As we transition into the Jurassic period, we observe a significant shift in insect sizes, with them being much smaller compared to previous periods. During the Jurassic period, oxygen levels decreased compared to earlier periods, which likely contributed to the reduction in insect size. This phenomenon highlights the intricate relationship between atmospheric oxygen levels and insect physiology. As oxygen levels fluctuate over geological time scales, insects adapt accordingly, leading to variations in their sizes across different epochs in Earth's history. The Jurassic period, spanning approximately 201 to 145 million years ago, heralded a significant evolutionary milestone with the appearance of the first birds around 160 million years ago. During this period, a new generation of creatures quickly dominated the skies, one of which is Anchiornis. It is a small, feathered dinosaur from the late Jurassic period that possessed wings that were likely used for gliding or possibly even limited powered flight. These wings were supported by well-developed feathers, indicating its ability to use them for controlled aerial maneuvers. In addition to its wings, Anchiornis had claws on its wings, a feature known as a biomechanical mousetrap. These claws were likely used for climbing, enabling Anchiornis to ascend trees or other structures in search of prey or to escape predators. Anchiornis likely utilized several methods for hunting. As a small, agile dinosaur, it may have been an opportunistic predator, targeting small prey such as insects. The question is, why have giant insects completely disappeared, leaving only a small population of the little insects we see today? This last clue might provide an answer to that question. Fossils discovered in Liaoning, China, offer crucial evidence regarding the extinction of giant insects during the late Jurassic period. Dating back around 160 to 145 million years ago, these fossils unveil a diverse range of ancient life forms, including small feathered dinosaurs, early birds, and insects. One significant finding from Liaoning is the abundance of small feathered dinosaurs, such as Microraptor and Anchiornis, alongside early birds like Confucius ornis. These discoveries imply that the emergence of small, agile predators with aerial capabilities might have contributed to the decline of large insects. The emergence of flowering plants around 125 million years ago had profound effects on insect families, leading to the decline of some and the adaptation of others. As angiosperms proliferated and diversified, they transformed ecosystems, eventually giving rise to modern forests. However, this transition also had consequences for insect populations, particularly those reliant on different ecological niches. The decline of giant insects during this period may indeed have been linked to changes in the aquatic ecosystems inhabited by dragonfly larvae, which are ancestors of modern dragonflies. Before gaining the ability to fly, dragonflies began their lives as aquatic creatures, spending their early years underwater as larvae, fed on other aquatic insects. However, when flowering plants like Archifructus appeared on lake shores, the life conditions for dragonfly larvae changed. These plants took root in shallow waters but bloomed above the surface, with their flowers eventually withering and sinking. Microorganisms present in the water would digest this organic material, consuming oxygen in the process and potentially reducing oxygen availability for dragonfly larvae. This change in the aquatic ecosystem may have posed challenges for dragonfly larvae, leading to the decline or extinction of certain species. Adaptation to these altered conditions would have been necessary for survival, and it's possible that some dragonfly species were better equipped to cope with these changes than others. As a result, the decline of giant insects and the emergence of flowering plants likely had interconnected effects on terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, reshaping the evolutionary trajectories of various organisms. The emergence of new predators could have contributed to the decline of Arthropleura populations. While Arthropleura were formidable herbivores, capable of defending themselves with spiny exoskeletons, the appearance of new predators such as flying reptiles and early amphibians may have posed significant threats to their survival. Increased predation pressure could have led to population declines and ultimately extinction. Furthermore, changes in vegetation and habitat during the transition from the Carboniferous to the Permian period may have also played a role. As forests evolved and diversified, the habitats available to Arthropleura may have changed, potentially reducing suitable habitats and food sources for these giant arthropods. Overall, the extinction of Arthropleura was likely a complex process involving multiple environmental and ecological factors, including declining oxygen levels, increased predation pressure, and changes in habitat and vegetation. These combined pressures may have led to the gradual decline and eventual extinction of these iconic Carboniferous creatures. In conclusion, the extinction of giant insects and arthropods such as Arthropleura during various geological periods was influenced by a multitude of interconnected factors. Emergence of new predators to changes in vegetation, habitat, and environmental conditions, these ancient creatures faced a complex web of challenges that ultimately shaped their evolutionary trajectories. The rise of flowering plants, the diversification of forests, and the appearance of aerial and aquatic predators, including early dinosaurs, all played roles in reshaping ecosystems and exerting pressures on insect populations. Additionally, shifts in oxygen levels and other environmental parameters further contributed to the demise of these once dominant species. Understanding the intricate interplay between these factors offers valuable insights into the dynamics of ancient ecosystems and the evolutionary responses of organisms to changing environmental conditions. As we unravel the mysteries of the past, we gain a deeper appreciation for the delicate balance that governs life on Earth and the resilience of living organisms in the face of environmental change. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more content on prehistoric life and the mysteries of our planet. Stay tuned for future updates, and thank you for watching.